Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the World Class Stamp. Today, we're going to be predicting match week 3, and we're going to be starting off with Friday Night Football. The Blues, Chelsea, taking on the Hatters in town. Friday Night Football on Sky Sports. For this one, Chelsea, they surprisingly succumbed to a 3-1 defeat against West Ham United. I think it'll be another return to form for Chelsea. I don't see Luton picking up the points. I'm going to go for a 4-0 home win at Stamford Bridge.
I think Chelsea will be back on track. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Chelsea win. I think they might have been a bit unlucky in the game against West Ham in certain parts, especially having the man advantage. But yeah, 2-0 Chelsea.
I think Chelsea have played pretty well, to be fair, despite results not quite going their way. So Luton will be undercooked as well. They played the once, so yeah, I expect a comfortable Chelsea win.
Okay, so moving on to Saturday's fixtures. 6 fixtures on Saturday, starting off with your lunchtime kickoff. Bournemouth versus Tottenham Hotspur. Bournemouth at home. I'm going to go with an away win. Was really impressed with Tottenham against Manchester United. I think they'll continue with that, and I'm going to go for a 2-0 win against Bournemouth.
Yeah, I think it'll be quite a tight affair, but they might start getting the knack of winning Tottenham under this new manager. I'm going 1-0 away win for Tottenham.
Yeah, I think Spurs will do well in this fixture. I think probably see how poor Man United were. I think Spurs' opponents were more of a fight against them. So still a Spurs win, but yeah, a tighter affair for them.
Okay, next up we have Arsenal versus Fulham, another London derby. The Gunners, they've been shaky to start off with. Fulham, they started well, but they were soundly beaten against Brentford last time out. I think Arsenal will have enough to beat them though, so I'm going to go for a 1-0 Arsenal win.
Yeah, I think Arsenal have started well considering they haven't been playing the best, so they're still getting the wins. And if I've gone 1-0 for Tottenham, I'm going to have to go 1-0 to the Arsenal on the weekend against Fulham.
Yeah, I agree. Arsenal win. They haven't played that well. They've certainly not left third gear, I don't think. Plenty of room for improvement there. Fulham lost quite handsomely to Brentford last week, so I expect Fulham to struggle again and Arsenal win for me.
Okay, not influenced at all by the football to your right. We'll move on there then. Next fixture is Brentford versus Crystal Palace. The Bees have been impressive so far. I think they've done 2 very good victories. Wissa and Boema are on excellent form, and I see them picking up another victory. I'm going to go for a heavy home win, 3-0. Matt, what do you think about Crystal Palace's chances?
Well, these are 2 clubs that are good to support for entertainment. I think Brentford have started out on fire, but I think Palace will come and spoil the party this weekend. Not taking all 3 points. I think it'll be a 1-1 draw.
I fancy a Brentford win. I think they've started well. They're playing well. Palace, although a very exciting young team, just don't think they'll have enough away at Brentford to get any points there. As you say, Anton, Brentford are playing well, scoring goals, which is not a surprise, maybe a little bit, considering Tony isn't around. So for me, Brentford win.
Next fixture, Everton versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. 2 poor sides in my opinion. I think Everton will struggle with the loss of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. 0-0 for this fixture for me.
Okay, I think Everton might pick up some points. This is probably a relegation 6-pointer if Wolves carry on the way they are. I thought they would have been playing a bit better than they have been. So I'm going to go for 1-0 Everton win.
Yeah, this is a tough fixture to call actually. As Matt says, could be a relegation 3-pointer here. Everton got battered against Villa 4-0 previously. Wolves have played okay, to be fair, but I think at some point Everton are going to have to turn their performances around, and I think this weekend could be it, but I still fancy a draw in this fixture.
Okay, next up we have fresh from the takeover, Manchester United taking on Nottingham Forest. I think there'll be a positive atmosphere around Old Trafford, and whilst they have struggled to hit the tracks, they haven't looked very convincing in the first 2 fixtures. I think Man United will get the victory here. It won't be easy though, because Nottingham Forest has played well. They played well against Arsenal, and I think they got their first win on the weekend as well. So I'm going to go for Man United 2-1 win, but it'll be a tight game.
Yeah, I think Man United will turn it back around this weekend. I think they'll reverse the actual result which they suffered last weekend. I'm going to go for 2-0 Manchester United win.
Yeah, I think Forest, as you say, have played well first couple of game weeks, but I think Eric Ten Hag will have got into those boys in that dressing room at Man United. I fancy Forest to be on the end of a little bit of a ton-pim, to be honest, so I'm going to go a comfortable United win, 3-0.
Then the final game on Saturday is the 5:30 kickoff. We got Brighton and Hove Albion versus West Ham United. Brighton has started like a house on fire. Very, very not surprising, but they're getting the goals, which is the hardest part. West Ham, very good victory over Chelsea. It was a bit of a topsy-turvy affair, but but West Ham got the points. For me, it's hard to look past Brighton. West Ham do look good as well, but I'm going to go for a home win, 3-2 Brighton.
Yeah, there's something in the water down in Brighton at the moment. They're playing with a bit of swagger, and I can't look past them this weekend. West Ham did impress actually against Chelsea. You know, maybe could have conceded 1 or 2 more than they did, but they didn't. That's football. So I'm going to go for Brighton 2-0 against West Ham.
Yeah, Brighton are in the full swing of things, aren't they? They've certainly peaked already in game weeks so far. Playing excellent football, continued on from last season. Great result for West Ham last week against Chelsea, but I just, as Anton, you said, you can't back against Brighton at the moment. So Brighton win for me. 2-1 though.
Okay, moving on to Sunday's fixtures. We have the battle of the Claret and Blues. Burnley versus Aston Villa. This one is a 2 o'clock kickoff. I think Aston Villa suffered a shock defeat against Newcastle. Well, a shock heavy defeat at least. But they really returned to form with a heavy victory of themselves. And today they've won 5-0 in midweek competition against Hibs. That said, Burnley, they're going to be competitive and strong at home. But I still fancy Aston Villa to pick up the points. I'm going to go 2-1 away win.
Yeah, I think Villa returned to form over the first couple of game weeks after that heavy defeat. But I think Burnley, there'll be a positive atmosphere at home. So I'm going to go for a high scoring draw, 2-2.
Yeah, I think Burnley will be up for this. They'll be fresh. Maybe undercooked. Early days in the Premier League back for them. I fancy to do well, as I've said in previous episodes this season. And again, I just can't look beyond Villa getting the 3 points here. So it's going to be a 2-0 away win to Villa.
Okay, next up, the Blades versus Manchester City. 2 o'clock kickoff on Sky Sports. I can't see anything other than a Manchester City away win. They haven't started off very convincing. They've had a couple of new signings come through. So I think they will get the win, but I think it'll be a little bit closer than people will think. I'm going to go for a 3-0 away win.
Yeah, I agree with the exact same scoreline there. Man City to beat Sheffield United 3-0. Yeah, they're still gelling, even with the new signings. Not as slick as they in previous seasons, obviously, because we've just got underway. But I can't see anything other than a comfortable 3-0 win.
Fancy a little bit of a cricket score on this one, I think. I think City could absolutely dismantle Sheffield United, and I'm going to go for a 5-0 City win. I think Phil Foden has slotted into that Kevin De Bruyne position really well, and I think, comfortable, very.
Okay, and the final fixture of this weekend then are usually a high-scoring affair. You've got Newcastle United at home to Liverpool in the 4:30 kickoff on Sunday. Tricky fixture this. Newcastle started well. Liverpool still looks shaky in defence. They'll be boosted by the overturned rescindal of the red card for McAllister. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw.
Yeah, that McAllister sending off was never a sending off. Luckily, it didn't affect the game last week for them. They still got the victory. Liverpool. I'm going to go for Liverpool away win, 2-1. Even though Newcastle are well drilled, I don't think they got enough to beat this Liverpool side at the moment. So I'm going to go for Liverpool.
I think actually Newcastle have got probably one of their best chances in quite a number of years to beat Liverpool here. They've started well again this season. Liverpool, although they're picking the points up, I don't think they're really hitting the gears. New signings are playing well. I just fancy Newcastle to sneak a 1-0 victory here.
Okay guys, that's our predictions for match week 3. Let us know yours in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, please consider dropping a like. And if you want to be notified for new videos, consider subscribing to the channel. That's it for this time guys. Have a world-class weekend. We'll see you next time.